In today's episode, let's read something about resins from a research paper. Namaste everyone and welcome to Om Incense Show with DJ, a show that helps you increase your incense quotient. So if you are an incense enthusiast, consider subscribing. So I'm again reading something about resins from a research paper, and so there's this research paper which was there was something which was published in International Journal of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Research. So we'll be reading something from this. So you might just want to treat this episode as a podcast and let it play in the background while you're doing whatever you're doing at the moment, or you might just want to grab your favorite snacks or beverage and sit with it and just relax. Just close your eyes and listen to this. So it says resins, the title of the paper is Resins from Herbal Origin and a Focus on Their Applications. We have Kotkar Parimal, Anubhav Khale and Kadu Pramod writing this. I do not know how to share this through my drive, so if anybody knows that, please let me know, so I'll be able to share this with all of you in case you're interested in reading the whole of this. Otherwise, you might just want to look up this title in the in Google and you might just find this. So what we have here is, it says, the abstract of the paper says, the present article reveals an important role and wide applications played by the resins. Herbal system is considered as a complementary and alternative system of medicine, plays a significant role in India. Resins, being the natural products, are the secondary metabolites which have therapeutic actions in humans and which can be refined to produce the drugs. Humans have been using plant resins for thousands of years because wide use of resins, they are collected by artificial injury to plants, though they are secreted by plants in response to protect the plant. Resin is a viscous compound, hardens over time but softens on melting and does not react with water. This unique property makes the resins as a choice in preparing many excipients in the pharmaceutical dosage forms and even for preparing sustained release medicament formulation. The softer odoriferous oleoresins and gum resins containing essential oils are more largely used for therapeutic purposes and incense. Thus, resins play immense role in today's pharmaceuticals. So this was about the paper. So this is what they're going to look for in the paper. So we have, it says, introduction, it says, resins are amorphous products of complex nature. These are amorphous mixtures of essential oils, oxygenated products of terpene, and carboxylic acids, such as found as exudations from the trunk of various trees. They are transparent or translucent solids, semi-solids, or liquid substances containing large number of carbon atoms. Most of the resins are heavier than water. They are insoluble in water but soluble in alcohol, volatile oils, fixed oils, chloral hydrate, and non-polar organic solvents like benzene or ether. They are hard, electrically non-conductive, and combustible masses. When heated, they soften and ultimately melt. They are usually formed in schizogenous or schizoxylogenous cavities or ducts as end products of metabolism. Then we have another paragraph on distribution of resins in plants. The resins and resinous substances are more or less extensively distributed throughout the entire plant kingdom, specifically the spermatophyta, that is, the seed plants. Notably, their presence is almost rare and practically negligible in the pteridophyta, that is, the ferns and their allies. However, the resins have not been reported in the thallophyta, that is, the seaweeds, fungi, etc. Therefore, all these findings and observations lead one to the fact that resins are the overall and net result of metabolism in the higher plants, since majority of them belong to phylum Angiosperm, that is seed enclosed flowering plants, and Gymnosperm, that is naked seed non-flowering plants. So this is what we have. Then they give an example, certain examples of resins. So it says resin cell occurrence of resin in plants. In the plants, resins usually occur in different secretory zones or structures. A few typical examples of such plant sources, along with their specific secretory structures, are given below. Resin cells, ginger; schizogenous ducts, pine wood; glandular hairs, cannabis. And then we have physical properties of resins. Resins are hard, transparent, or translucent, brittle materials. They are invariably heavier than water, having the specific gravity ranging from 0.9 to 1.25. Resins are more or less amorphous materials, but rarely crystallizable in nature. On being heated at a relatively low temperature, resins first get softened and ultimately melt down, thereby forming either an adhesive or a sticky, massive fluid without undergoing any sort of decomposition or volatilization. On being heated in the air, in the presence of oxygen, resins usually burn readily with a smoky flame by virtue of the presence of a large number of C atoms in their structure. On being heated in a closed container, that is, in the absence of oxygen, they undergo decomposition and very often give rise to empyreumatic products, that is, products chiefly comprising of hydrocarbons. Resins are bad conductors of electricity, but when rubbed, usually become negatively charged. They are practically insoluble in water, but frequently soluble in ethanol, volatile oils, fixed oils, chloral hydrate, and non-polar organic solvents, that is benzene, N-hexane, and petroleum ether. And now we have the chemical properties. Resins in general are enriched with carbon, deprived of nitrogen, and contain little oxygen in their respective molecules. Majority of them undergo slow atmospheric oxidation, whereby their color gets darkened with impaired solubility. Resins are found to be a mixture of numerous compounds rather than a single pure chemical entity. Their chemical properties are exclusively based upon the functional groups present in these substances. Consequently, the resins are broadly divided into resin alcohols, resin acids, resin esters, glycosidal resins, and resin, that is, inert neutral compounds. Resins are regarded as complex mixtures of a variety of substances such as resinotanols, resin acids, resin esters, resin alcohols, and resin. So this resin is R-E-S-E-N-E. So I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Resins are nothing but oxidative products of terpenes. They may also be regarded as the end products of destructive metabolism. The acidic resins, when treated with alkaline solutions, they yield soaps or resin soaps. And then they talk about the solubility. And it says classification of resins. The resins are broadly classified under three major categories, namely taxonomical classification. The resins are grouped according to their botanical origin exclusively, such as coniferous resins, which is colophony and sandarac, Burderidaceae resins, podophyllum, and Zygophyllaceae resins, guaiacum. The next thing they say is In this particular instance, it has been observed that the resins that usually occur in plants of the same natural order may exhibit more or less related characteristic features. Chemical classification. The resins may also be classified as per the presence of the predominating chemical constituents, for instance, acid resins, colophony, abietic acid, sandara-chloric acid, shellac, elutric acid, myrrh, chromophoric acid. Ester resins, benzoin, benzyl benzoate, storax, cinnamyl cinnamate. Resin alcohols, balsam of Peru, perusinottanol, guaicum resins, guaic resinol, gurjan balsam, gurjuresinol. Resin resins, example dragon's blood, draco resin, gutta percha, fluwil. Glycoresins, jalap resins from jalap, that is Ipomia purga hyinale. Podophyllum resin from the dried roots and rhizomes of Podophyllum hyxandrum. And then they talk about the constituents of resins, of different types of resins. And it says uses. The hard transparent resins such as copals, damars, mastic and sandarac are principally used for varnishes and cement, while the softer odoriferous oleoresins, frankincense, elemi, turpentine, copaiba, and gum resins containing essential oils, ammoniacum, asafoetida, gamboge, myrrh, and scamoni are more largely used for therapeutic purposes and incense. Isolation of resins. Pharmaceutical resins are obtained from the plants and animals by one of the following methods. Then it says by extraction, by distillation, by heating the plant as a plant exudates, by incisions, by collecting fossil resins, and by processing the incrustations like shellac. And then they give different types of uses of the resins. About lac, it says stick lac contains 70 to 80% of resins, sugars, proteins, coloring matter, wax, extraneous matter, and volatile oil in traces. Lac resin consists of hydroxy fatty acid derivatives. Elutric acid is the main constituent, 35% of resin, while shalloic acid and its isomer along with chirolic acid and butyric contain lacaic acid, which is water soluble. Then, so we have this. Let's read about oleogum resins. The oleogum resins are the naturally occurring mixture of resin, gum, volatile oil, and mostly small quantities of other substances. There are some potent oleogum resins which exhibit remarkable medicinal values. A few drugs containing oleogum resins are as follows, and then we have asafoetida. Asafoetida, the uses, it says it is abundantly used in India and Iran as a common condiment and flavoring agent in food products. It is also an important ingredient in Worcestershire sauce. It is used as a repellent against dogs, cats, deer, rabbits, etc. It is used seldomly as an antispasmodic, carminative, expectorant, and laxative. It is still employed in veterinary externally to prevent bandage chewing by dogs. It is also used as a powerful nerve stimulant, especially in nervous disorders relating to hysteria. Then we can read about turmeric. It says it contains volatile oil, 5 to 6% resins, and substantial quantity of zingiberous starch grains. The marked and pronounced yellow color in turmeric is due to the presence of curcuminoids, which essentially contains curcumin. The volatile oil contains a host of chemical substances and such as phellandine and sesquiterpenes. Turmeric also contains some other chemical constituents, some caprylic acid and stuff. And then they have given the use of it. So it is exclusively used across the globe as a condiment or as curry powder. It is employed as coloring agent for ointments. It is medicinally as a tonic. It is used medicinally as a tonic, as a blood purifier, as an anthelmintic, and finally as an aid to digestion. It is used medicinally in the form of a facial cream to improve complexion and get rid of pimples. A small quantity of turmeric when boiled with milk and sugar helps to cure common cold and cough symptoms. Then we have about myrrh. It says it is used chiefly in perfumes and incense. It is frequently employed as an antiseptic and stimulant. Myrrh acts as an astringent to the mucous membrane, and hence it finds its application in oral hygiene formulations such as gargles, mouthwashes. It is also used as a carminative. So that was all about the resins that was mentioned in this paper. Resins from herbal origin and a focus on their applications. This is a paper which had got published in IJPSR. You might just want to look this up, or if you can just let me know how to share this with you through my pen drive, through my Google Drive, I'd be able to do that for you. And so if you want to read the entire paper, you'd be able to do it there. For now, that's all for the episode. Till we meet again next, take very good care of yourself. Namaste.